Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about which Godfest exclusives to choose for your weekly medal exchange for this week's series, Fagan Rai and Zaerog Core. So, as a part of the pad celebration event that is currently going on, Gung Ho is giving us a weekly medal which we can monster exchange for various 7-star Godfest exclusives. So this is a fantastic time period because not only do we get to acquire 7-star Godfest exclusives, we get to choose the one that's going to benefit our monster box the most within a fixed certain pool. This is great because you're able to flesh out your box, fill in holes that you could not necessarily address otherwise, and essentially just build up your box. And one reason why 7-star Godfest exclusives are so viable is that Gung Ho tends to give them the most love of any card possible. They receive continuous buffs and upgrades, which continually make them relevant, sometimes pushing them back into the meta. They often receive new evolutions, which in turn oftentimes is incredibly powerful. Look at Valkyrie Seal right now. She's one of the strongest options we have for blue or red through her new evolutions, and obviously acquiring her and beating said dungeon is meaningful. Furthermore, at the very worst case scenario, a 7-star Godfest exclusive at least is able to function as trade fodder, and trade fodder can obviously be utilized to exchange for various powerful cards that will hopefully help you clear more content. Point of the matter is, this is a great time, but one thing I want to stress before I go any further is that you do not have to monster exchange today. You can wait, you can hold on. There is no expiration period for this medal once it's actually in your monster box. So I would not trade hastily and then regret it down the road later when you possibly realize you need something else but you don't have any more medals, you don't have the other alternative. It's going to be a sad time. So once again, don't trade unless you need something and you can actually use it right now. For myself, I still have about half of the medals that we've acquired over the past, I don't know how many years. I still haven't used them because there's no dedicated use for them in my monster box. A good example is like one of the series where I have all the cards from it, and because I have all the cards, well, what's the point of me actually monster exchanging for a duplicate when I don't know if I need it? Because again, Gung Ho tends to get these new evolutions, weapon assists, and we just don't know who's going to be the next big thing, so to speak. So with that being said, let us take a look at the schedule right here. So for this week, which is the current week right now, we have Fagan Rai and Zaerog Core. Remember, all you have to do is log in during this time period. The medal doesn't actually expire once it's in your monster box, and I'm going to presume that if you're watching this YouTube video, there's a good chance you're logging in every day anyways, so yeah, just be excited when it does appear in your monster box. We do have the Pad Appreciation Medal, which gives you Valkyrie Seal, which is what I would like to get another one of, because I would like to make the red form now. Zeus Giga and Athena Non as well. You can have all the various Great Witches, and you can have the 9-year anniversary medal with 2 new things that are going to be included in the near future. Just be aware of the fact that Rex and their friends will not be featured along with Grandis and their friends. Not all the medals are going to be featured here, but at the same time, we're getting 4 Godfest exclusives and you're choosing the one. So as a great blanket statement, you should choose the Godfest exclusive you don't already have. If you already have, say, Zaerog Core, getting your first Fagan Rai is probably going to be much more meaningful and vice versa. But at the same time, if you feel like even if it's a new card and you don't have a dedicated use or place for it, just wait and hold on. Like I said, use this when you have a need. Like say you're hitting a wall and you realize for your team you need this piece to actually make it so you can clear the dungeon, then that's a great time to monster exchange for it. So, that being said, let us take a look at the 9-year anniversary medal, which is Fagan Rai and Zaerog Core. So, as a general statement, I like to say Fagan Rai is a superior choice to Zaerog Core if you have neither of these cards, because Fagan Rai, even with his classic original weapon assist, is still meaningful. Who would have thought that 2 team HPs, a skill boost, cloud resist, and a reasonably long cooldown so it doesn't accidentally overcharge would last for so many years as being a relevant weapon assist? I still use mine every now and then. It's just so helpful. And like I said, if you have absolutely nothing in your box, this is just a fantastic weapon to have right now because you always benefit from more health. A skill boost helps you transform sooner, which most cards do nowadays. And cloud resist is, well, cloud resist. Point of the matter is, a wonderfully strong, universally helpful weapon assist, and it's easy to make, because all of his other forms are not easy to make. So Dark Fagan Rai is a strong dark card because they have high amounts of personal damage. They can have up to quad 7 combo, a VDP, and a TPA. They do have tape resist. They do have a large attack set so that offensive prowess doesn't go to waste. They have a 2-turn cooldown, which is able to create no Skyfalls and create 4 Dark Orbs over non-heal orbs. I guess if you want to go fast, sure, you can do no Skyfalls or overwrite other Skyfalls, but with a 2-turn cooldown that at least makes orbs as a backup is helpful because you can inherit an active of your choice over top. It could be a big shield, could be a delay, could be haste, could be damage absorption. Whatever you need, having a low base cooldown makes it flexible and a good chance it'll be charged up and ready to go at the beginning of the dungeon if that's the solution you do require. And as a leader, they're actually still a reasonably strong option for Dragon Devil cards because all you have to do is match 4 or more connected Dark Orbs, and you get these nice fat multipliers. Easy to use. The main drawbacks of this card is they only have 2 skill boosts, they have no skill bind resist, and there is kind of a lot of competition, I feel, to a certain extent between, say, Ina and Sakura for like mono dark teams for like a 2-turn cooldown card because they at least give time buff, and Sakura gives time and attack while also unlocking the board well of Ina. So Fagan Rai's active I feel is a little less powerful overall. If it gave a mechanic solution like say an RCV buff, I would be using this card so much more often instead of this no Skyfalls makes me very sad inside. Like Ina's active feels much more powerful by comparison on a 2-turn cooldown, so I'm just kind of thinking, could have been a little stronger. But at the same time, remember, these cards are going to be locked behind a rare invade, and it took me lots of tries to get the rare invades. Sometimes it took me like 30 odd tries to get one. So yeah, that can be obviously a bit of a detriment. For his blue evolution, they are cross. They're not angry. They just have lots of cross awakenings. So if we ever get a super stellar, amazing blue leader that likes to use color crosses, obviously this will be more helpful. But at the same time, maybe they can be utilized as a leader, but I feel like on 6x5, it's definitely much harder. 7x6 will make it easier to match enough color crosses. But at the same time, you just have to match 4 or more colors to have that damage reduction. And that's a sizable amount of damage reduction. It's not the greatest out there, but it's still serviceable enough. And the active skill unlocks the board and creates 5 of every type of orb. Like, I guess it guarantees you rainbow activation, but again, it's not countering mechanics. Not super amazed by them. And in terms of drawbacks, they have no skill bind resist unless you pursue their skill bind through their super awakenings, which I think is kind of wasteful. I like getting super resist most of the time, but again, what you need will vary based on the content you're trying to play through. Leader skill, like I said, can feel a little clunky on 6x5, and it's probably just not going to be an applicable card for newer accounts. Like, you have to get this rare invade, which is difficult to do, and it probably won't serve you much good. In all honesty, I feel like Fagan Rai is just going to be best in his Cloud Weapon Assist because it's so helpful and at least easy to acquire for like at least more beginner players. And then for their Weapon Assist, both of them provide 2 team health and then 80% resists in total. And if you can use every single one of those awakenings, this becomes quite a useful weapon assist because that's a lot of awakenings that are going to be meaningful. But at the same time, if you have lots of super resist and you're not fully leveraging everything you can from here, I feel like it's just an expensive weapon to pursue. Like I said, you need to have the invade twice in order to make a weapon assist. Pretty costly overall, and I feel like they would be highly situational and niche. I haven't, at least for myself, I haven't thought of an instance where I needed this weapon. But then again, having options is never a bad thing. Again, if you have so many excess cards, maybe you could pursue these and you're able to clear this dungeon on a regularly easy basis. For Zaerog Core, I feel like he just lacks an ideal home in any of his evolutions. He doesn't fulfill any role better than other cards currently available, not even like top maybe couple for their respective roles. So I feel like it's just a little awkward. They're just highly situational cards, and I feel like I wouldn't trade for them. Even though Daytona does come out with all his TPA galore, and Zaerog Core does have a TPA weapon assist, it doesn't provide anything else of value. So if we look at their base form, they could have large amounts of personal damage through multipliers, through double 7, 2 attack over below 50%, and a VDP, because why not? But if you do that route, you only have 1 skill boost. And, like, if you're 1 skill boost, why are you not a transforming card? Like, transforming cards often give more skill boosts, and transforming cards tend to have more overtuned awakenings and active skills afterwards. So I just feel like it's a little unfortunate there. If you take the 3 skill boost route, you're not bad. You do have reasonable damage if you're low health, but that follow-up attack feels a little wasteful because who needs follow-up attack nowadays? And then not super bind is just kind of sad because you're just taking up more awakening slots. Maybe in the future he'll get a big buff to make him more relevant because the active skill is still reasonable. You do have 50% health cut, which is good for teams that want to be low health, but there's not too many of those, at least at this point in time. And then you get 1 turn of increased orb movement time. So a movement time buffer, maybe in the future, who knows, maybe he'll get buffed to create some dark orbs. Then he'll become a bit more helpful. Maybe his awakenings will be condensed to be a lot spicier and maybe they could be more relevant. But at this point in time, I just really can't fathom an instance where I want to use them all the time. Like, there's not really much usage for him at this point. Through his TPA weapon assist, you're like, wow, 2 TPAs, cool if you're Daytona, but then if you think about it, do you really need more damage? You do already deal so much damage, and if you're playing through the hardest content in the game right now, you don't need more damage because you already do so much damage. You need health, and you need skill bind resist. And this weapon provides neither of those. Furthermore, the active skill is not even helpful if it overcharges. Who needs a 6 times attack buff? Daytona teams already do enough damage. This is a pointless active skill. It's just not a good weapon assist at this point in time. It needs to give something else, or this active has to change to make it useful. For his green form, he does have super jam resist. He could have 4 skill boosts or 2 of a tape resist. And they can have large amounts of personal damage. They have 4 attribute awakenings, which does large amounts of damage, 3.5 times per, and a large attack stat. But the problem is he mixes enhanced wood combos awakenings. So it's like, I need to match 4 more colors, but I like to make lots of wood combos at the same time. There is no team out there that wants to do that. So right away off the get-go, they just don't fit anywhere well. And if we look at the active skill, it is unique. It does give you 10 turns of no Skyfalls and then 2 turns of void, damage, void. So it's on an 8-turn cooldown. As far as cooldowns go, this is one of the shortest cooldowns possible for a 2-turn damage absorb void. But at the same time, no Skyfalls are going to hamper you unless you're trying to farm content as quickly and efficiently as possible. Then no Skyfalls is helpful because you go faster. But if you're playing content regularly, you usually want Skyfalls because more Skyfalls means more damage, more healing, more everything for the most part. So it's kind of like partially shooting yourself in the foot for an effect that may not be necessarily relevant. At the same time, you don't know where you can utilize them as a leader or sub. It's just kind of a weird card at this point in time. Maybe something will come out that's a wood-based card leader that wants to make lots of wood combos and lots of colors at the same time. Maybe, and then I don't know. It's kind of awkward. If we look at the weapon assist, you get that same active skill. So that active skill, again, is valuable. It does come with a skill boost, so maybe you can inherit this onto your farming teams and then you have a better time. But at the same time, it is still expensive to make. Remember, any of these colored evolutions require 1 rare invade. The weapon requires 2 rare invades. So kind of awkward. And then at the same time, you're playing through like endgame content. These awakenings, I guess, are nice, but it's not an active skill you're probably going to want, I feel. For their light form, they have three attribute awakenings. It's kind of a weird tongue twister in my head there. So modest amounts of personal damage multiplier. They can get another one or a VDP, depending on the type of team they're used on. And they have a gargantuan attack stats. So quite easy to slap on lots of damage, like double damage cap should be reasonably straightforward with this individual here. They also can have a super poison resist through regular awakenings. Nice looking awakenings right here. If we look at the active skill, it's a full board unlock that creates a full rainbow board, and then if your health is below 50%, you get 1 turn of damage absorption cancellation. So at this exact moment, 1 turn of damage absorb cancellation is not particularly helpful. Like, sure, maybe you could argue Ensure 1 and then you have a backup for the green Minnow at the end, maybe. But it's just not that great anything higher up. It needs multiple turns. And then being conditional at being below half health is problematic because you have to have a team that can tank hits safely to get below half health just to have this activation. I think it's a little janky, I feel. It's going to be hard to truly leverage and utilize. So, like, another instance is, wow, why is my voice cracking? We have another card who just does, I guess, cool stuff, but doesn't fit in any particular team. And as a leader, they do have fat multipliers, but you have to match specific water, light, and dark. Not any 3 colors, so it can be a little bit more restrictive. Their board changer does come up reasonably often, but we don't really have a systemable way to guarantee you have activation, which can be a little risky. So I just feel like it's a nice card in theory, but it's just not going to really pan out, I feel, overall. For the weapon assist, similar idea. Has okay awakenings if you can actually use every one of them, but the active skill tied to it's probably not going to be helpful. And again, the opportunity cost of getting this card is 2 rare invades, which is obviously difficult. And the active skill, like I said, 1 turn of damage absorption on a conditional below half health is tough to juggle. So, in conclusion, these free monster exchange medals are exciting because, well, we get new Godfest exclusives potentially for our monster boxes, or we're able to at least flesh out what we currently have. And I would plan to do a video / article every week that this does come out, because I know players like to know what they could possibly do as soon as it comes out, but I still want to exercise caution and don't Monster Exchange right now. Monster Exchange when you know you're going to get something of value that's going to help you. Yeah, point of the matter is, it doesn't expire as long as you log in and acquire the medal in your given monster box. With that being said, let me know what you think about Fagan Rai and Zaerog in the comments below. Which one would you prefer to pursue and why? Regardless of all that, hopefully you all have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.